Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, which features interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, without further ado, I'll hand you over to your host, Holly Wharton.
Hello and welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, episode 134. This is your host, Holly Wharton. I'm here with today's special guest, Linda Ursin. Linda is a second-time guest on this podcast. Really excited to have her back. She was one of our first guests back in 2013 when this podcast launched. She was episode number 5. So Linda has had some changes in her business since then. So I wanted to bring her back on to talk a little bit about them. So Linda is grounded in her Scandinavian nature-based traditions for unleashing feminine energy and strength. She brings her years of experience as a seasoned intuitive guide and artist to the work of supporting female entrepreneurs, and she helps them stay tapped into their feminine strengths for long-lasting success and fulfillment. Welcome, Linda.
Thanks, Holly.
Really excited to talk to you today. I love the idea of what you're doing. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about your background and your business journey and how you got to where you are today with your business, because you've had some changes since we last spoke.
Yeah, it's evolved quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm born and raised in Sweden, and I moved to Norway in 1999. Mm-hmm. And I've been selling stuff online since 2003.
Wow.
So I started with readings and amulets, mm-hmm. and I still have those. Then I started marketing my art in 2011, I think. Mm-hmm. And then started to learn about marketing in 2013 when we met. So after trying other people's cookie cutters, I've been trying to find my own way, trying to find what I think is fun to do and how I want to do it. Mm-hmm. So after going through, I think I've been through life coaching, pain management coaching, straight up tarot readings, and a couple of other things. So right now I'm doing what I want to do as a multi-passionate and running 3 different branches. So it's I do some creative guidance and intuitive guidance, and then I have the amulets and readings on another site. Plus I have my art, web design, and graphic design on a third one.
Okay, so you're running everything off of 3 different websites.
Yeah, they're under the same domain.
Okay,
but
good.
I have a multi-site setup.
Okay, all right.
I think I have a total of 6 or 7 websites.
Wow, okay. But they're all in the same domain, so people can find out about the different aspects of what you do kind of in the same place?
Yeah, and they're linked.
Good.
So it's easy enough to find them.
And as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, I think this is something that a lot of our listeners will really resonate with, because a lot of us have multiple passions, and it can be really confusing to, a lot of us feel like we have to just pick one, or some of us will allow ourselves multiple ones. How has it been for you to kind of narrow it down to these, different options that you have now?
I'm pretty defiant. So when people tell me to choose just one, I said, no, I don't want to. So I don't think I have narrowed it down. It's just that the description turns it into 3.
Okay.
So within the creative intuitive guidance, I still have the art and the amulets and the herbs and the readings. It's just that it's not in the main description.
Okay, got it. So how has the process been of evolving your business from, the different coaching that you did to what you're offering now?
Pretty frustrating, really, having to reinvent the wheel and finding solutions that will work for me, because I've been running on a 0 budget for training. So it's been a lot of research and a lot of trial and error.
Now, I like what you said earlier about how you tried a lot of different cookie cutter approaches, but none of them were right for you.
No, they didn't feel right. And I do listen to my intuition.
So how was it for you? At what point did you realize, I'm following all of these templates that other people have and they say, follow my system, this will work for you, this will work for everyone. At what point did you realize it wasn't working for you and you had to just do your own thing?
I think I realized that pretty early when I was talking to a coach I was working with at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a while to actually do something about it.
Yeah. Well, it can be hard because it's so tempting to follow these cookie cutter approaches because you think, oh, well, this is just everything I need in a package.
And it will make it simple for me.
Yes, exactly. But doing it all on your own and kind of making up your own recipe of, online marketing and stuff to attract clients, that can be really scary because you've got to kind of pick and choose from different places, come up with stuff on your own. So how has that process been for you?
Well, I'm not easily scared.
Good.
So I've been taking action on things and trying things, and if they don't work, they don't work, and if they don't feel right, they don't.
Yeah.
So, but actually building your own way of doing things, same as choosing your own path in spirituality, it feels a lot better, and it's actually easier in a way.
Mm.
It's more work, of course, but it's easier on the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as draining as trying to do something in a way that isn't you.
Yes. What it sounds like I'm saying is, or what it sounds like what I'm hearing you say is, it's a lot about listening to your intuition and doing stuff that feels aligned with you rather than something that's aligned with someone else.
Yeah, you and your values, because if pushing this pain island, pleasure island approach doesn't really rhyme with your values, it's going to be a huge disconnect and people won't sign up anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get what you mean because I understand the concept of that and I understand why it works for some people. I understand that it can be useful, but it can also feel really icky.
It's one thing to remind people of why they're looking for a solution. It's another to prod at their pain.
Yeah. That's yucky.
Yeah, it is. That's used car salesman stuff.
Yeah, it is. I think there's a point where it goes a little bit over the line. Because as you said, one thing is to remind people of are you experiencing this, this, and this, and this? How long are you going to continue to sit with that? When are you going to take action? That kind of thing. But, just really just kind of sticking the finger in, in their pain is...
And law of attraction, the way some people describe it, doesn't sit right with me either.
Oh, really?
Even though I'm a witch and do magic and stuff. It's the way they describe it is that you can just sit there and wish for what you want and it'll come. Yeah. You actually have to do some work to get it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And I was just having a conversation with another friend about this because, maybe that works for some people. I don't know. But
I don't think
I have to take action
for anyone. That maybe if they've done a lot of work for 10 years and then they start that and they think that last piece is what made it work.
True. Yeah, because I really do believe in mindset. I think that's really, really important to be focusing on what you do want rather than what you don't want. But I'm also a big fan of taking action, and I really do think you need to take action towards what it is that you want.
Yeah, it's the same with magic spells and amulets. Or a prayer. It's not going to do you any good unless you actually do what you need to do.
Yeah, I really like it that you said that because I think that's a really good analogy because, believing in the law of attraction is very much like, prayer or magic. It's different aspects of the same thing.
It's putting your energy out there.
Yeah, and your intention.
Yeah.
I like that. So, what were some of the biggest changes that you've seen? Now, you said you started selling things online in 2003. That's 13 years ago.
Yeah, that's back when it was easy.
Okay. So this is my question. How have things changed in the online world since then? How is it easier or harder to sell things? What's it like?
It's a lot harder, in my opinion, because you have to be a lot more targeted. Mm-hmm. Back then, you could pretty much throw out a link and people would click it.
Yeah. Because there weren't that many things to click on.
Have a clear message targeted to the people you want to reach, and you want to post it in the right place at the right time. Blah. So I mainly just share what I do, and they can come if they like it. Because Alison Crow supports that too. She's doing it that way too, and she's a 6-figure coach.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of people are making it harder than it has to be. Mm-hmm. And it may take longer through sharing what you do and building relationships, but it sure feels a lot better.
Yeah, I think that's really good what you said about building relationships, because back when my business was about social media, my focus on using social media was to network online and build relationships online rather than kind of the Facebook ad kind of thing, which I think is great, and that's a good strategy, and I think people can use it, but that's not my thing. Like, but
many of your clients might be using Ad Blocker Plus.
Exactly, which I use myself.
Yes, me too, because I don't want to see the stuff.
Yes. I actually did unblock ad blocker on Facebook because I wanted to see the kinds of ads that people were coming up. When I started doing Facebook ads a couple of years ago, I unblocked my AdBlock Plus because I wanted to take screen captures of different ads that I thought I liked, what caught my eye, that kind of thing. So it was kind of for a research basis. I found
a lot of the ads I was seeing were totally uninteresting.
Yeah.
So it wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah.
It was a lot of these health, sort of lose weight in 5 seconds thing. Because I had mentioned something about being overweight, or I had mentioned something about chronic pain, and I get all these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
sometimes they're just not targeted very well.
No.
Keywords don't always work.
No.
So Linda, tell us about what you do today. So you work with female entrepreneurs, and you help them tap into their feminine strengths.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I focus mainly on the creativity and the intuition.
Ooh.
I'm not saying that guys don't have it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that women do.
Yeah. No, and I'm sure men tap into it in a different way, and they harness that energy in a different way. So
yeah, but it's just, I think those two areas are two areas that often get too little attention. Mm-hmm. People like to follow other people's advice instead of their own, and creativity or self-expression is almost always dropped first when you get busy, even though it's a basic human need. It's sort of the first thing we let go of when we're short on time.
Yes, I completely am guilty to that. So how do you work with women to help them kind of tap into that creativity and intuition and self-expression?
Well, I'm currently reworking my services, but I do have a couple of things that I do. I do a virtual cup of tea to get to know them. That's sort of a free offer, but it's not a sales pitch. Where I try to work out which areas they need help in, and then sort of give them an action step that they have to do pretty much immediately. And I also have a creative play date where we just play around with their projects.
Ooh. And do you do that on Skype or in person?
It's the play date is via Zoom because of the quality of the video and audio.
Ooh, okay.
But otherwise I do work over Skype.
Okay.
So I like to talk to people. Well, I can pretty much talk a hole in your head if you let me. So,
well, I can imagine if you have a background in coaching.
Coaching. I stopped calling it coaching because it isn't.
Okay.
It's more guidance because I'm not doing this scripted questions setup.
Yep. Okay. All right. So can you tell us a little bit about, I think so many women entrepreneurs, we've got so many examples of men doing business. Yeah. And a lot of us feel like we have to fight to be like men and to get out there and do it their way. And I know a lot of people are starting to talk about tapping into your female energy and harnessing that and how much more powerful it can be. But how do you help people realize that that's something even more powerful than trying to be like the man?
It's being yourself is what's going to resonate with people. It's not going to resonate if you're trying to be a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or trying to do something that isn't you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they can often feel not very authentic.
Yeah. I'm pretty, even though it's a fashionable word, I've always been big on authenticity.
Yeah, it is. I think more and more people are talking about it these days. And it might possibly be losing its meaning because so many people are using it and perhaps we're not really thinking about what we're saying. But I think it's really, really important, especially in the world of online marketing, to be yourself because people are going to be attracted to you.
Yeah.
Because of your energy and what you're putting out there.
It looks like there's sort of a revolution coming that some are still using the old style advice, but it's more and more showing through that, especially with women business coaches. You see a lot of advice that is find your own way, be yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, Linda, what are your top tips on how women can tap into their feminine strengths and, run their business from that perspective?
When you have a choice coming up, feel into it. Sort of what feels right. Mm-hmm. Or if something comes up that feels totally wrong, or a client feels totally wrong to work with, it feels yucky to talk to them, then fire them.
Or just don't work with them to begin with.
Or don't work with them to begin with, yeah.
I think that's a really good point because so often, especially when we're starting business, we feel like we have to take on everyone. And I think that's when we feel like, oh, well, I've got to take them on because I'm just starting my business and I need the money and this is what I do. I take on clients. And so rather than paying attention to that gut feeling of, oh, this person is not right for me.
Yeah, I've also seen people say that if you say no, it's more likely that you will get the ones you want.
Yes. I've seen that so much online. People who have fired clients who are really just not treating them well and being a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And then they get like 3 new clients. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So what else?
So on the creative side, I'd say it's worth having fun with it.
Yes.
Because if it isn't fun to you, you're either going to quit or you're going to continue and feel miserable about it.
Yeah.
So make sure you add some fun, some humor, some creative expression into what you do. Because it's more likely that you'll like it in the long run.
Yes. Now, what would you say to women who maybe don't consider themselves to be creative?
Everyone is.
I know.
In some way. In some way. It doesn't have to be painting.
Yeah.
It can be the way you write your notes. It can be the way you speak, the way you write your blogs, or create your little memes, or whatever you do. There's a self-expression element to it.
Yeah. Even writing blog posts, that's writing. That's creative self-expression.
Yeah, that's writing, and then you also have picking out the pictures.
Yeah.
And you have the ones who pick generic pictures from these stock photo, iStock photo and stuff. And then you have the ones who sketch their own pictures, and you have everything in between.
Yeah, so it's a matter of finding your style and how you like to represent yourself.
The easiest is probably playing on Canva or something like that.
Canva's fun.
Yeah, I usually create my own in Photoshop, but that's just because I have it and I'm used to using it.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know how to use Canva. It. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a good point. You need to go with what's fastest and easiest for you, because Photoshop can be quite complex and daunting to someone that's never seen it before.
Yeah. I'm more about creating ease and simplicity this year than running myself ragged.
I like that. So do you have any more tips on how to tap into your feminine strengths and work from that side?
It's taking time to listen to yourself, to listen to your body. So if your body's telling you to rest, it isn't very smart to go against it.
Yes. Yeah.
And check in with how things feel, and follow your impulses. If your impulse says to blog about something totally different one week, then why not?
I love that, because I think sometimes we get locked into the structure of, so my business is this, and so I need to be blogging about this.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get those impulses, and often we don't pay attention to them because we've got our heads so stuck in, this is what I do, this is what I have to do.
Yeah, and also these days people want to get to know you, so if you took a trip, they might want to see pictures.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I love about social media, and particularly things like Instagram. So I do share business stuff on Instagram, but I often share like my walks when I go, walking in the woods, that kind of thing. So I think certain social networks lend themselves to showing that personal side of you more than, the business side.
And also work in progress is also a good thing to share, whether you're an artist or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something that you do a really good job of. I love how you show your paintings in progress, kind of as they're going.
I'm big on taking pictures. I think I took up towards 300 pictures in January.
Oh, wow.
I need a new camera.
And so what are you mostly taking pictures of? You're taking pictures of nature, your art? What else?
The dog, the cat, family, the area around me.
Yeah.
Stuff I create.
Yeah, I love that. And you share a lot of that online, which is great.
Yes, I do. It's one of my ways of showing who I am and what I do.
Yeah, love that.
Sharing those pictures.
So, Linda, do you have any women business mentors? Are there any women entrepreneurs who inspire you, who really work from this feminine strength?
Well, I really enjoy following people like Alison Crow because she has an attitude, she's very creative, and she's doing things her way. Mm-hmm. So she's definitely one of those I do follow. I do have other inspirations, but for business, I'd say she's one of the biggest ones. I also have a good friend in Rachel Cornell, who's she's been working with productivity. Mm.
Okay.
So she helps me, I help her.
Good, yes. Good. So, Linda, you mentioned that other women entrepreneurs can work with you. They can start out with a virtual cup of tea. You've got the creative play date. What's the best place to start? Is it with the virtual cup of tea?
Yeah, because then I can sort of get a feel for what they need.
Great. And they will take away one action step from that they can take action on immediately, you mentioned.
Yeah.
I really, really like that because I think that encourages people to take action rather than just kind of sit back and,
Yeah, I've had people sketch on Post-its while we talked, so you're not going to get away with doing nothing.
Good. So you can expect to take lots of notes and come away with an action.
It's a short, friendly conversation, but it's also about getting you where you want to go.
I also like the way you kind of market it as a virtual cup of tea because it sounds like you're going to meet together with a friend on, Skype or Zoom or whatever it is that you use and have a chat and, it's going to be useful because you're going to come away with that action step, but it sounds much more friendly than...
Yeah, I want it to be that way. Yeah. I want it to be just a friendly conversation because I'm not into doing those discovery sessions.
Yeah. I completely agree. I mean, I think these calls are really, really useful to help you get a feel for what's going on for the person, how you can help them, and are you two a good fit? Because you may not be.
Yeah, they get to know me a bit too, and how I work, sort of how I speak and personality and things like that, instead of just getting presented with something and asked a bunch of questions.
Yes. Good. So, Linda, where can people find you online?
I'm pretty much everywhere on social media. And my website is lindaursin.net.
Mm-hmm. Good. And what would you say is one of your favorite social networks to hang out on?
I spend a lot of time on Facebook. Yes. But I really like Instagram and other places too.
Good. Yep. So it's been such a pleasure to talk to you today, and I love the work that you're doing, and I love your focus, and I'm really excited to see what's coming up for you now that you're kind of changing up your offerings. So thank you so much for joining us today to share with us your journey and how things have changed since we last spoke.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So is there anything else you'd like to say about, any last words on how you can tap into your feminine strengths or any words of encouragement?
I don't know. It's just get a feel for who you are and go with that.
Yes. Love that. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ollie.
And thank you for listening. And remember to visit readytobloom.com/134 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Ready to Bloom podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. You can find more information about today's guests, including links for topics that were discussed at readytobloom.com. That's bloom.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave us a quick review of this podcast. Thank you so much.